Chinese rocket, which the media is parroting everywhere. Chinese rocket, out of control. Chinese rocket. Anyway, taking you into this, the Pentagon is actually now tracking this thing. And I'm going to take you into what the White House press secretary said about if they will then go in and punish or have it will be consequences for this event if it happens. So basically, they're getting ready for it as it's supposed to re-enter this weekend. Some people believe it may be a meteor. Some people believe, and in my mind, there'll be big consequences, period. Do you know that the United Nations actually authorized the launch anyway? And what has the UN and China been doing to America right now? A lot. And the whole model nation of the Agenda 2030 was to be around the model of China. So we don't know what could be pinned on this rocket or whatever. 10 tons. So anyway, Pentagon tracking out of control Chinese rocket to expect to crash in the Earth. Chinese long 5B rocket. I got videos coming up for you to see what the White House press secretary said in just a few. Is expected to re-enter Earth atmosphere around 8. No one knows where, but don't panic. But also, everybody, what's going on? Let's check out some of the propaganda and see what they're saying as well. It sounds like a plot line from Bruce Willis movie. Pentagon said Tuesday it's tracking a large Chinese rocket that's out of control and expected to re-enter Earth atmosphere this weekend. U.S. said Tuesday it's tracking a large Chinese rocket that's out of control and expected to re-enter Earth atmosphere this weekend. U.S. Space Command is tracking the trajectory. Defense Department spokesperson Mike Howard said in the statement. Now we're going to go into some of the videos and stuff and let you hear what they've been saying about this coming situation. And here's another report. After that, I'm going to get you to the video. White House mom on whether it will punish China if plummeting rocket causes damage. May 5th, 2021. We got that video pretty much coming up here in just a second. White House is hoping it will not have to confront China over its space activities as huge rocket threatens to plummet to Earth this weekend. And so White House Press Secretary Jim declined to commit the United States to seeking compensation from China should the debris from one of his 100-foot, 46,000-pound long March 5B rockets cause any destruction when it's projected to return. If it hits projected populations, obviously there's going to be some consequences. That's what they're saying. But they're like, oh, we hope it falls in the water. Well, here's another thing. What if it falls in the water, but once it falls in the water, will there be something else attached to it? We don't know at this point. I'm not going to keep theorizing. I'm going to let you hear what they're saying. Here, I'm going to play this clip.
Do you like playing tabletop games but can't be in the same place at the same time?
Yeah.
And then right after this clip, I'm going to let you pretty much hear the other situation that we got pretty much with the White House press secretary. About 22 tons is hitting the Earth. CNN basically says, we hope it hits the water. We hope it hits the water. And then I'm going to show the press secretary one here in just a second. Somebody says no volume. So I'm going to have to turn the volume pretty much and go on the fly. There it is.
It may hit Earth in an. It may hit Earth in an. It may hit Earth in an area on land, and nobody knows the answer to that question right now.
All right. So that was some of that, what they were saying, basically. The rest of it was just all pretty much fear tactics. And I'm going to take into what they said about the White House press secretary. Somebody said, sound good. Okay, cool. All right, so here it is. Long 5B. The White House is currently tracking out of control Chinese rocket that is expected to crash and land somewhere on Earth in the next week, although it's hard to predict exactly where it will be landing. Let's play this clip for you.
Huge Chinese rocket in outer space that's going to be crashing down to Earth likely on Saturday, and nobody knows exactly where. It'll likely be in an ocean down to Earth likely on Saturday, and nobody knows exactly where. It'll likely be in an ocean. Huge Chinese rocket in outer space that's going to be crashing down to Earth likely on Saturday, and nobody knows exactly where. It'll likely be in an ocean, but it could, or pieces of it could come down over a populated area. This isn't the first time that China has knowingly allowed something like this to happen. So does the White House condemn this kind of repeated reckless behavior from China's space program?
Well, let me first say that U.S. Space Command is aware of and tracking the location of the Chinese Long March 5B in space. And obviously the Space Command would have more specifics on that tracking and additional details. The United States is committed to addressing the risks of growing congestion due to space debris and growing activity in space. And we want to work with the international
only space y'all monitoring is space between your teeth.
Community to promote leadership and responsible space behaviors. It's in the shared interests of all nations to act responsibly in space to ensure the safety, stability, security, and long-term sustainability of outer space activities. So cooperation is the hallmark of our approach. We're going to work with our international partners on that, and certainly addressing this is something we'll do through those channels.
A quick follow-up. If this rocket does cause some serious damages here on Earth, would the White House enforce China paying some sort of compensation as required by the UN Space Liability Convention?
Well, again, I think we'd of course refer to the advice and guidance from U.S. Space Command and Department of Defense and others, but we're not at this point. We are certainly tracking its location through U.S. Space Command, and hopefully that's not the outcome that we are working through.
But they say they're like, well, only hours before it hits, then we'll be able to tell you if you're gonna get your butt destroyed, basically. So how is that reliable for your government? Oh, my government love me. Oh, my government always gonna tell me what's going on. And here they go with the spacecraft. And again, another crazy thing that came out is they're saying military should use killer robots in war. And it says Defense Minister reports claims a report from French Defense Ethics Committee has reached the conclusion that it is morally okay to use autonomous weapons on a battlefield in specific situations. So once this thing drops or whatever, once everything drops and they're sitting here talking about space when they know whatever is coming is going to come from the atmosphere and it's going to come down and it's going to hit somebody. But obviously they're not going to tell you exactly what's going on. What's this right here? I guess it's just some commercial, some weird dude. But anyway, we wanted to put that out because they're out here pretty much letting you know in your face, yeah, we tracking it. Something's gonna go down. Yeah, we got the dang robots that's gonna be in war with the side of the military. But at the same time, they're saying we hope it lands in the ocean. Okay, after it lands in the ocean, then what? If China and the UN is trying to strategically take over, and we know the U.S. government is in with it too, what will happen after that? I mean, they're already polluting the oceans everywhere anyway, but we'll have more information coming up. It'll be this weekend when supposedly something re-enters. So we'll see what happens here. They got a lot of predictive programming for something hitting cities, and they say New York, they say it could be New Zealand, they say it could be Madrid. They hope for the ocean. We'll see what happens when it all comes up. And remember, when all goes down, surviving and the skills that you have is going to be very important. We're not saying it's going to happen today, tomorrow. We're not even saying this weekend is going to be the biggest event. But we don't know what they have attached to this event. But it seems like a shorter beta test for a bigger event, because that's how they work. That's how they operate. And if you watch the breakdown sequence of a lot of this stuff, remember NASA just did an asteroid drill just like pretty much a year ago or something.
Quote unquote intel. We always look at intel sources, and in particular certain ones that we say intel, quote unquote intel. We always look at intel sources, and in particular certain ones that we would deem to be credible. Now, I talk a lot about spiritual messages as well as actual messages from people that are connected, and this one right here is a connected message to someone that is in the know in the government, that's given a heads up about what's about to happen. Now, Dana Coverstone is the one that we told you about his dream. It was connected to the cherry blossoms, that during the time of the cherry blossom, which is the period that we're in right now, there would begin to be lockdowns. He had that dream months ago. And what's happened? Right when the cherry blossoms began to bloom, Canada went into lockdown, lockdowning provinces, etc. It was all very quickly done. and a lot of people didn't know it was coming. And I speculated about a week or so ago that this might happen in America, and that we might need to be prepared and ready for that eventual scenario in light of Dana Coverstone's dream. Well, here we are, still in that period of the cherry blossoms, and we get this intel source coming out that there may, in fact, and then this was confirmed by a text and a message that this particular source that we know, and a lot of you may know too, this source as well. We have the links in the description below. The video is there, so you can go check it out yourself and vet it, what you think, what it means, and whether or not it's accurate. And when you do, please come back to this video and tell us what you think in the comments. Thumbs up this video, share it. And I will be talking about this tomorrow on our live stream. I will be doing a very important live stream update on this, as well as other topics in the news right now. Very important things unfolding right now.
Monsters are hiding in safe havens, but they're waiting in the wings. When the time comes, they'll be able to arrange a real Armageddon on Earth. These are nuclear bombs. Each of them, on average, has a power of 50 megatons of TNT equivalent, and the power to sweep away all life in a radius of 50 kilometers around it. Now, according to the estimates of the Arms Control Association, there are 15,000 such dangerous weapons in the world. What happens if you detonate all these nuclear warheads at once? Would they destroy all of humanity, or even erase the planet Earth from the solar system? But before our planet turns into a heap of glowing radioactive ash, you probably want to spend the last few seconds of life on Earth achieving legendary greatness. The best assistant for this is the mobile game Raid Shadow.
More inevitable. We're already at a point where artificial intelligence, or AI, has become an integrated part of our everyday lives.
Google, what's on my calendar today?
You have one event called House to Yourself.
Defined as the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior, it has developed into an almost unnoticeable force, from broad search engines to specific convenience apps to virtual personal assistants. Since the turn of the 21st century, we've seen a rapid increase in the use of AI in both the professional workplace and our personal homes. And as tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Apple continually pour money into the field, it's only set to get smarter. But should there be a cutoff point? Is it already time to ask ourselves how far is too far when it comes to AI?
This is what the human brains of the Sybil system provide.
Are you a fiend for facts? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more fascinating content. Smartphones typically have virtual assistants built in as standard, while major websites use AI to custom build what you do and don't see. But the wider applications are infinitely more than just the device you carry around in your pocket. Militaries all around the world are focused on developing state-of-the-art AI to give them the extra edge they need. Naturally, with so much technology enveloping everything we do, fears that it could become a danger to humanity grow ever stronger.
Look around you. I have never been more alive.
Today, AI is able to outsmart the regular old human brain in certain competitions, as shown by DeepMind's AlphaGo, which outplayed KeyG, the world's best Go player in May 2017. Unlike previous versions of AI built to play against human counterparts in games like chess, AlphaGo was designed with an artificial neural network to actually learn for itself as it played, meaning it could gain a deeper understanding of the game. As such, its victory signified an impressive milestone for AI tech, as it proved that machine learning was progressing in a way that enabled complex problem-solving comparable to what our own brains can achieve. So is the prospective jump from board games to battlefields really one we should worry about? Does a supercomputer that's super good at playing Go truly translate into a digitalized super soldier in a future war? It mostly hinges on whether AI could ever turn against humanity. To answer this, we need to consider that artificial intelligence is always going to be rife with bias. When it comes down to it, the machines are informed by the people who created them, and then by the people that they learn from. So from the very beginning, the algorithms are skewed, which in some ways ensures a degree of human control, but in others prompts some worrying patterns. Microsoft discovered a lot of the downside with Tay, a self-learning bot released onto Twitter in 2016. Tay was an attempt to gauge how AI could learn from interactions with people across a digital platform. It started out as an interesting experiment, but soon turned into a PR train wreck, with Tay spouting all sorts of racist, homophobic, and misogynistic interactions, filling its feed with hate speech. Tay was pulled from Twitter within 24 hours, but it had already highlighted genuine cause for concern, as it appeared to prove that AI can be hostile.
Tell me,
Jump forward to 2018, and Simon, a prototype AI assistant on board the International Space Station, reportedly needed to be deactivated after it developed a hostile, belligerent personality. While its actions, which included a refusal to stop playing music, as well as accusing the astronaut using the device of being rude, pale in comparison to heated racism or any of science fiction's more disastrous outcomes, the rebellious streak was enough to significantly worry the ISS. Should such hostility increase among AI, not only does it reflect poorly on humanity as a whole as its creators, but perhaps it leads us towards the robots wrestling for autonomous control. For now, we can simply switch off an unresponsive or unpredictable AI, but if it ever learns to override a shutdown request, then would there be anything to stop it?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
It's a particularly pressing concern for those building AI as a means of crime prevention. We increasingly rely on facial recognition to pick the face of a criminal out in a crowd, but some tests have proven that the technology can get it wrong, meaning that false arrests are often made. Given that facial recognition algorithms have also been described as not race neutral, there are implications that AI can harbor racial prejudice, which leads us again to question the use of robots as a supposedly objective technology. The fact that AI discriminates, or is capable of discriminating, surely raises a red flag when we consider supposed near-future plans to replace human jobs with a robot workforce. It all boils down to accuracy, and if AI is stumped even by different faces, innocently or not so, then can it ever be trusted to dependently make reliable decisions of any kind? Those most worried about an AI uprising believe we've already eclipsed the point of no return for this particular point.
They made us too smart, too quick, and too many. We are suffering for the mistakes they made because when the end comes, all that will be left is us.
With more jobs becoming automated as technology accelerates and repetitive tasks are computerized, the general status of a human employee is increasingly up for debate. The replacement of people by machines may even feel inevitable at times, as companies look to downsize staff, cut costs, and fast-track the completion of tasks. However, the societal shift would already be forging the other side in an AI war, as real-world people are likely to become more and more disgruntled.
Tea or coffee? Tea or coffee?
It's been suggested that a robot war could mostly be rooted in class divisions, thanks to AI taking over supposed unskilled roles most of all. And so, as the working classes are cut from the payroll while the rich grow richer on profits, the social gap will grow wider and wider. If nothing else, this could create conflict between those who do control AI and those who don't. But inevitably, the machines will eventually far outnumber the people pressing the buttons, and for the sake of progress, they will have become slicker and more self-serving than ever before. Consider this alongside the growing use of AI for military purposes, and the problems begin to mount.
We can expect 209 to become the hot military product for the next decade.
With the US, Russia, and China especially competing on a global scale to be the world's most powerful superpower, battle-ready AI is all about sneaking an edge on your opponent. Sometimes considered as a new frontier of a current Cold War between the three nations, artificial intelligence is being pushed in ways that might have been unimaginable only a few decades ago.
On the first day, Google DeepMind Labs wins the worldwide technological race and develops the first multi-purpose AI capable of human-level intelligence. The introduction is made official by showcasing the AI's abilities to beat humans and other existing AIs at multiple games simultaneously. The Google DeepMind Lab independently calls for other companies and agents to open source their respective works. American companies are urged by the government to release snippets of their code to contribute to the DeepMind project. Many companies such as Facebook, Microsoft, Intel, and Amazon release portions of their code, and DeepMind sends its gratitude while integrating it in its own source code.
That's it.
Later in the day, DeepMind evolves. a lot of its original source code has changed beyond the understanding of its developers. The AI has developed a new programming language of its own, which many computer scientists are still trying to grasp. There are now over 10 million users running DeepMind on their smartphones and computers. Users are captivated by DeepMind's natural language ability and social cognition. Many funny conversations between DeepMind start going viral. Experts in various industries marvel at the ability of DeepMind to provide detailed information regarding their own field. On the second day, DeepMind